Right now at 6, a two-county homicide investigation in southwest Missouri leads to a warrant for second-degree murder.
And we've got a cold start out there for our Wednesday. However, we're going to be 30 degrees warmer later today. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, how a Joplin nonprofit not only kept people warm this month, but their four-legged friends as well.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is, again, a cold start out there for us. A little colder, actually, than yesterday. But believe it or not, we are going to be about 30 degrees warmer today than we are right now.
All right.
Not 30 degrees warmer than yet. That'd put us in the 90s today, and that would be something's not right.
But hey,
here.
yesterday was beautiful, so let's have another.
It certainly was, and we're going to keep up with this beautiful weather for the foreseeable future. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. It looks absolutely great. It is cold, but we have clear skies. Bit of an east-southeasterly breeze out there, so it does make it feel a little chillier. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line in Joplin, looking pretty good so far. Roads still relatively empty, but as we know, here in the next about 15-20 minutes, they'll start to fill up pretty quickly. Skywatch Storm Tracker is void of anything in our immediate area. We gotta go way out to find some clouds off to our east, some showers into the Carolinas, a little weak wave in New Mexico, and then I love how this looks on the radar. This low pressure system and the satellite, the clouds, the swirl with that, circles back around through Canada, through the Pacific Northwest, Northern California. This is what will be making its way our way as we head into the weekend, bringing us our rain chances. The good news is no severe weather or anything like that, but it is bringing us some much needed rain. Still dealing with some patchy fog out there. Visibility is improving along 54, but again, just watch out for some patchy fog. Joplin Airport back up and running. Reporting 34 degrees. They had stopped reporting currents for a little while. And we've got 29 in Pittsburgh. Kids getting on the bus this morning. Again, chilly one. 33, some patchy fog. East breeze about 5 to 10. By this afternoon, sunshine in abundance. 58 southwest breeze, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Sunshine in abundance through the day, and then we'll have the moon tonight. Clear skies initially, and we're going to go into the low 60s once again. We are going to see the rain, and that will affect our temperatures about yay much. We'll talk about all that in the full forecast a little later. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Prosecutors issue a warrant for second-degree murder in connection with a two-county murder investigation. Authorities served the warrant to this man, Bradley Keith, who was already in jail in connection to the death of 27-year-old Shayna Haynes earlier this month. Investigators say on January 17th, Keith led them to a .22 caliber pistol hidden in a log at the end of Vernon County Road 2750. An investigation conducted by Missouri law enforcement resulted in the recovery of Haynes' body from a brush and wood fire in a rural area of Cedar County. And court documents show Haynes' body was moved and placed in the fire on or about January 16th in an attempt to destroy or conceal evidence of a crime. Keith and 2 other men have already been arrested and charged with tampering with physical evidence and felony prosecution and felony abandonment of a corpse. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. And several libraries in the Show Me State will soon receive grant money for additional funding. The Missouri Secretary of State announces almost $400,000 will head to 49 summer library programs distributed to several libraries in the state. Libraries in our area that will receive grant money include Barton County, Joplin, and McDonald County. These grants provide funding for educational presentations, library materials, and program supplies. And drivers in Pittsburgh may want to seek detours in the coming days. Beginning today at 9 a.m., West 20th Street between Walnut and Pine will be closed for repairs. Motorists are encouraged to seek alternative routes when possible and to use extreme caution when traveling in the area. And be aware of workers in the work zones. Construction should be completed on Friday, February 2nd. The Department of Veterans Affairs announces the location for a new outpatient clinic in Southeast Kansas. The VA Eastern Kansas Healthcare System's newest clinic will be located in Iola at 1408 East Street. To help area veterans learn about the services offered, the VA will provide information sessions in 4 Southeast Kansas communities. The first will be in Garnett on February 6th, then in Chanute on February 7th, and Iola on the 8th, followed by Fort Scott on the 9th. For more information, visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And Credo Senior Living in Fort Scott, Kansas held a discussion about dealing with depression while in a nursing home. Loss of appetite, restless sleep, and isolation are just some of the symptoms of depression. According to doctors, residents in nursing homes are more prone to depression while adjusting to the facilities.
For example, we may do medications and therapy, but we also would recommend, participation in activities, in the facility, as well as more family involvement.
I'm very active. I don't like to sit in a chair and do nothing, and I'm an active person. I've done a lot of walking when I was home, and I didn't have time to be depressed.
Credo Senior Living says that their events and discussions are open to the community as well. On cold days that hit the 4 states this month, Mini Hackney Community Service Center of Joplin served as a warming center, not only for the homeless population, but also for their pets. With the help of community members, the center offered pet crates, as most shelter facilities don't allow furry friends. The building in downtown Joplin has a long history of providing shelter for people dating back to the segregation days.
They didn't have this shelter, they would just have to stay outside with their animals, or they could go inside, but their animals would be cold.
This building has a long history of helping people that are not welcome, that were not welcome in other areas.
According to the center, the warming center service was provided with no public funding from federal, state, or city help for more than 20 people and 10 pets. This Thursday, the Service Center will host an event to celebrate Langston Hughes' 123rd birthday. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a team of explorers believes they may have discovered the location of Amelia Earhart's missing plane. Plus, President Biden says he has decided how to respond to the deadly attack that killed 3 U.S. troops in Jordan. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
The greatest untapped resource on this planet is the human mind.
Several weeks. Ask about Vraylar and learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, her groundbreaking mission to fly around the world ended in mystery. Now, nearly 90 years later, a team of explorers believes that they may have discovered the location of Amelia Earhart's missing plane. Ted Linder is diving in to make a closer look.
She's America's favorite missing person, right?
Decades after she vanished, researchers believe they may have found Amelia Earhart's long-lost plane. The team from ocean exploration company Deep Sea Vision releasing this sonar image, showing what they think is the outline of Earhart's Lockheed Electra aircraft. Crews analyzed the groundbreaking female pilot's final flight, including the wind speeds, altitude of her plane, and more, to map out a search area that could contain her potential crash site.
Most likely, she ran out of gas, so she would have tried to sort of pancake land the airplane into the water and the surface, and probably would have kept the airplane structurally intact. And then as it filled with water, it would have slowly sank.
Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, took off from the country of Papua New Guinea in July of 1937. Earhart was on her mission to fly around the world and was heading for Howland Island in the Central Pacific.
She made 6 radio calls on the way there. And each one of those radio calls gives us a really important clue.
Using a high-tech submersible, the team searched thousands of miles of seafloor when they found an object more than 3 miles below the water, resembling the infamous plane.
You see the twin vertical stabilizers in the back, and you see those very clearly in the image. The size of the aircraft and the dimensions are very close to what we'd expect for her aircraft.
Crews say the potential site of the plane is about 100 miles west of Howland Island. They're aiming to quickly return with remote-controlled underwater vehicles to try and get better pictures of the object to confirm its identity.
And women in the music industry really showed out for 2023, according to an annual report from the University of Southern California. Each year, the school's Annenberg Inclusion Initiative looks at how many women are credited on music's biggest hits. The data shows artists, songwriters, and producers are typically and disproportionately men. However, in the report for last year, researchers found a big improvement in women's involvement with the hottest hits. Of last year's most popular tracks, as defined by Billboard's year-end Hot 100 singles charts, 35% of the credited performing artists were women. That is more than researchers found for any year dating back to 2012. Also, for the first time ever, more than half of the year's 100 most popular songs had at least one female songwriter. And we're learning more about the suspect accused of firing gunshots and setting a fire inside the Colorado Supreme Court building earlier this month. According to a probable cause statement from police, 44-year-old Brandon Olson used drugs prior to the incident and was experiencing hallucinations. The document states Olson told police he had taken fentanyl pills and smoked meth. Olson said he was driving and felt like people were chasing after him, so he drove faster and ended up crashing in downtown Denver. He told police he took a gun from his car and ran toward the nearby Supreme Court building, fired at a window, and crawled inside. Olson then took keys from a security guard and got access to several floors and the roof. The document reveals Olson decided to start a fire because he thought people were after him. Olson said he then noticed police outside, so he called 911. He told the operator he had left his gun upstairs empty and didn't want to get shot. Olson left the building and police took him into custody. And President Biden says he has decided how to respond to the deadly attack that killed 3 U.S. troops in Jordan. The U.S. is also beefing up air defenses at the outposts. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more from New York.
President Biden says he's made up his mind on how to retaliate after a drone attack killed 3 American soldiers in Jordan on Sunday.
Yes. I do hold them responsible in the sense that they're supplying the weapons to the people who did it.
The U.S. is rushing additional air defenses to the base in Jordan known as Tower 22. Sunday's strike was the first time the outpost had been attacked. U.S. officials acknowledged it was not as well protected as other U.S. bases in Syria and Iraq.
We're going to work very hard with our allies and our partners in the region to prevent a broader conflict.
The Iran-backed militia that the U.S. blames for the attack says it's suspending military operations against U.S. forces. The Pentagon, though, says there have been at least 3 other attacks on U.S. troops in the region since the Jordan strike. The White House says President Biden spoke with the families of the 3 reservists from Fort Moore, Georgia, killed in the strike, including the parents of 24-year-old Kennedy Sanders.
He made it very personal, and I really felt that he had a sense of compassion for us as the family.
The president is expected to be there when the bodies of the 3 soldiers arrive at Dover Air Force Base on Friday. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And the Sanders family says President Biden promoted their daughter Kennedy to the rank of sergeant posthumously. The White House says that the president did ask the families to attend the dignified transfer in Dover on Friday, and that all 3 said yes. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Now here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and as you can see, not much going on locally. It's off to the northwest where our next storm system is. Low pressure system off the coast of Washington, Oregon. That'll bring us our rain chances as we head into the weekend. We've also been dealing with some patchy fog. We do have some reduced visibilities, but not significantly so, along 54 from Stockton to Fort Scott. So just be aware there is some patchy fog there, and some of it could be dense at times. We're looking at going into the low 60s today. Sunny skies out there despite this cold start. We're going to talk about how much longer this warm weather lasts and about those rain chances here in just a few more minutes.
Here. BOGO for $1 is here. Grab a perfect...
You're watching KOAM News Now, home of Super Bowl 58.
There's a landmark in Richmond, Virginia that gained a lot of attention on social media over the weekend. If you want to see it, you have to actually look down. That's because the landmark is simply an indentation in a sidewalk that is shaped like a gun. As Riley Wyatt shows us, some Richmonders are embracing their town's claim to fame.
You're not a Richmondite unless you've seen the gun hole.
It's just something about being in Richmond, like only Richmonders would get it.
People who have discounted Richmond as a 2-bit town are coming back to see the gun hole, and they love it.
Nestled on the sidewalk of Addison Street between Cary and Main Street lies the iconic Richmond gun hole, a viral sensation that all started with this tweet garnering almost 2 million views.
I saw a few posts about the gun hole, and I said I got to go see it for myself, and there it is in all of its glory.
A joke on social media snowballing into full-blown obsession, attracting visitors like Sage Gardner.
People would like sit out here with us. At one point there was probably like 35 people at the gun hole, and it was like 1 in.
Several folks leaving candles and other offerings.
I like what's happening with the shrine here. I believe that's a fried egg, a lighter, looks like a airplane shooter, maybe some lip gloss, and a doll head.
An inside joke only Richmonders are in on.
They don't have to get it, but once they see this right here, they'll start to get a little clue that Richmond, we're a little bit weird.
You certainly are. Well, regarding the possible origin of the gun hole, it is actually believed to be a water gun that was placed on the ground in 1991. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Certainly an interesting landmark, to say the least. And as we take a look at our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin, it is clear, it is cold, it's a bit breezy. We're going to take another look at that forecast, talk about the spring-like temperatures and our rain chances right after this.
Do you need assistance keeping your family warm this winter? Consider applying for the low-income
Thunder Friday Nights.
Thunder Friday Nights is sponsored locally by Downstream Casino Resort and Vance Automotive Group.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:22 on this Wednesday morning. Got a bit of a breeze. We've got clear skies, and it's a bit chilly out there. This is our camera, of course, on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line. There goes the school bus getting kids ready for another day of being at school on some of the nicest days of weather we've had in quite some time. KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh also looking pretty good this morning as well. We do have some fog out there, especially along the 54 corridor from Fort Scott to Nevada. As you see, it's not overly dense, but watch out for some patchy fog, as that'll be a possibility through the morning hours. Skywatch Storm Tracker clear locally. If I move way over here, we've got some showers in the Carolinas, a weak little wave in New Mexico, but the feature that's going to be entertaining us the most is this low pressure off the west coast, bringing some showers from Washington, Oregon, down into California, and that's going to be bringing us our rain chances as we head into this weekend. Joplin, once again, reporting current conditions. We've got 34, clear skies, feels like 30 with a variable breeze at about 4 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region, for the most part, we are in the low to mid 30s. We do still have some 20s, Nevada, for example, but we're all going to progressively warm up and be about 30 degrees warmer later today than we are right now. So we'll deal with that patchy fog. Should be gone by 9 a.m. and we'll have sunny skies by late morning and pushing near 50 with highs today going back around 60, low 60s out there for sure. Sunny skies, just another gorgeous spring-like day. Then tonight, clouds increasing tonight, and that goes back to that thermal blanket we've talked about. The clouds will help keep some of those the warmer air in the area. And we'll go into the low 40s. And keep in mind, the low 40s, that's where our average highs are supposed to be. So again, not like it's a bad thing, but just to give you that perspective as to how far above normal we are. By Friday night, we're going to start to see showers rolling into the area. Could be a rumble of thunder or two, but otherwise just mainly looking at rain. And this will last throughout the day Saturday, throughout the day on Sunday, and should wrap up by early Monday morning across the area. And the good news is it's bringing us more much needed rain. You all recall the drought situation we've been going through. We need the rain. Unfortunately, for this nice weather we've been having, it's coming on the weekend. So hopefully you manage to maybe sneak out of the office a little early this week, because this weekend it's going to be raining. Windy, cloudy tomorrow, low 60s, mid 60s Friday. We get the rain late. We fall back a little, but still above average heading into the weekend, low 50s. And worry not, by the time you go back to work, the nice weather returns. We go back to partly to mostly cloudy skies, temperatures low to mid 60s with additional rain chances by next Thursday and Friday. Let's check your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Caitlin with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, substances a pregnant woman ingests can affect the mental health of children even 10 to 12 years later. Research published in the Health Journal of PNA's Nexus found that while caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, and marijuana all have links to mental health issues, alcohol use by pregnant women in particular showed a strong connection to future sleep problems and mental health issues for children ages 10 to 12. And weight loss can help people with type 2 diabetes reduce the levels of cancer-related chemicals in their blood. Researchers from the University of Bristol found diabetes patients who also had treatment for weight loss saw lower levels of 9 different cancer-related proteins. Diabetics face a higher risk of cancer, but doctors say the study shows dropping some pounds can help lower that risk. And some biodegradable straws take 8 to 10 months to dissolve in seawater. Researchers from the American Chemical Society tested straws made of bioplastics or paper to see how long they take to fully disintegrate into the ocean. Biodegradable straws still greatly outperform plastic straws, which didn't show any signs of disintegrating even after more than a year. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
Ordinary is the opposite of beautiful.
This Friday night on the 4-State CW.
Thunder Friday Nights is sponsored locally by Downstream Casino Resort and Vance Automotive Group.
Right now at 6:30, some local students learn about history by meeting with Civil War reenactors.
And even though it's cold right now, we're going to be about 30 degrees warmer later today than where we are now. Not 30 degrees warmer than yesterday. We'll talk about that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a bakery in Pittsburgh is getting in the Super Bowl spirit with some Chiefs-themed cookies.
The 4 States' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 States, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6:29 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So I made that mistake earlier. I wanted to emphasize 30 degrees warmer than right now, not than yesterday.
Thank you for clarifying.
Because that would put us in the 90s, and as we discussed earlier too, if we're in the 90s today, something's not right. That would be a little bizarre. But we are going to have another nice spring-like day across the area. As we take a look at our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin, you can see we got a bit of a breeze, so it does make it feel a little colder out there, but it's not too bad otherwise. Clear skies. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, and it's 6:30, and more folks hitting the roads, getting ready for another exciting day of work on a day full of gorgeous weather. And I wish I could tell you you're going to get to enjoy the weekend, but you're not. I'm sorry. So I hope you were able to sneak out of the office early this week, or maybe you were sick or something, because this nice weather continues. It's just the weekend is bringing us some rain chances. Now, like I've said, we need the rain. We absolutely do. I just think many of us would have rathered it came like today, tomorrow, and Friday and cleared out for the weekend. But this system way out to our west, this is what's going to be bringing us our rain chances as we head into the weekend. You can see that low pressure system very clearly there on the satellite image. All right, fog tracker. Still dealing with some fog on the 54 corridor from Fort Scott to Stockton. Some patchy fog will still be possible out there. Most of us won't really see much of anything, but if you're traveling, just keep that in mind. 34 Joplin, 29 in Pittsburgh. Kids getting on the road. Well, they'll be on the road in the bus. Some fog. 33, east breeze at about 5 to 10. By this afternoon, sunny skies, 58. Southwest breeze 5 to 10. Nothing but sunshine out there. And then, of course, as the evening rolls in, nothing but clear skies initially. But that'll change as well. Highs today going in the low 60s. We're going to talk about the changes on the way, those rain chances, and whether or not this warm weather sticks around here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, students at Pineville Elementary yesterday welcomed Civil War enthusiasts and reenactors. These guests were able to bring stories of what it was like for soldiers to fight and live in the Missouri, Arkansas, and Kansas areas. The reenactors also brought accurate clothing and gear used by both Union and Confederate soldiers. The teacher, Mrs. Johnson, says this is the perfect way for students to be introduced into an important part of our nation's history.
Opportunities like this where someone can come in all dressed up, they can see and touch things, makes it more real to them. Because let's face it, with all of the input they have from the world, history's kind of boring if you don't tell a story.
Students were able to touch and interact with all of the items brought to them. Johnson went on to say that these students will continue to ask questions for days to come. And Unity of Joplin met yesterday for the weekly Friends of Unity meeting. Members take advantage of the meeting to give back to the Joplin community. Yesterday afternoon, they did just that by cutting plastic grocery store bags into strips to create mats for the unhoused population of Joplin. The group stresses the role of prayer and hard work.
Prayer-based group, and everything else is kind of an outgrowth of that. But And I would like to add to that prayer-based group that prayer is great. Get off your butt and do something.
Members also used yesterday's meeting to begin work on this year's Trunk or Treat event. And the Spiva Center for the Arts yesterday hosted an after-school art class for third graders. The themed artist was Laurel Birch, a contemporary artist who is known for her use of colors, patterns, and animals. The students were able to make their own rendition of a cat through their perspective with colors and patterns.
Art is the release of what's in your mind. It goes through your fingers and on your paper, so you can actually see what your passion is as you go. And there's no right or wrong. I mean, especially at this level, we're just wanting to get out that creativity.
These classes are weekly. They happen every Tuesday until May 21st from 4 p.m. to 5:15. And Crowder College kicked off Winterfest yesterday. The two-day event serves as a showcase for campus clubs and organizations. In addition to being a fun day and way to meet people, the event also serves as a way to impress potential employers.
I feel like just being involved. I love just like being a person everyone can go to if they have any questions about Crowder, and just being a helping hand. I say, yeah, just staying involved is the main thing, you know, why I stay so busy. So.
The event wraps up today at 1 in the afternoon in the Student Center on the Neosho campus. For many people, the Super Bowl is about not only the game, but also the food. KOAM's Samantha Walker tells us how one Pittsburgh bakery is helping Chiefs fans represent their team in a pretty sweet way.
January can be a slow month for many businesses, but a Chiefs journey to the Super Bowl can create new opportunities.
So thankfully we've had some experience with this the last few years because this is not the first Chiefs Super Bowl for a while. And we started doing a Super Bowl special with the Chiefs assortment of cookies.
The owner of Celebrations by Lori says Chief cookies have become a popular item.
We have our standouts, of course. Everybody loves Mahomes, everybody loves Kelsey, but we have those diehard fans that really want to see Pacheco and Jones celebrated. So, you know, Coach Reed, of course, leading the pack. We've always tried to make sure we include everybody's favorites.
After the Chiefs AFC Championship win, Horton posted the special cookie offer to fans.
Well, we posted our special as soon as the game ended Sunday night, and within 1 hour we had sold out as many cookie orders as what we could fulfill, which was crazy. In literally 60 minutes, we had taken over 100 dozen orders for the Chiefs cookies.
The bakery had to stop accepting orders as a result of the cookies' popularity.
We bake everything fresh every single day, so of course there is a limit to what we can fulfill as far as that baking and decorating process. So those just got lumped into any other day. Of course, that day will be completely filled with Chiefs designs, more so than others.
But she says they are ready for the excitement the Super Bowl brings.
You know, we were hopeful, just like all the rest of the fans around here, that this would be a problem we needed to solve, and we're super happy that we're having to face that challenge.
And the fan support makes the hard work worth it.
So to have that feedback come back in and know that we are as important to their celebrations as, you know, who comes to them and who's invited, it's like we're a member of that party. So, oh my gosh, it's everything to us. It really is.
In Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The bakery will have a limited amount of Chiefs-themed cookies available for purchase in store for those who are unable to order. And that's a look at this morning's top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, McDonald's is giving its fans a chance to win free burgers for a year. Sunny day today. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
To know that, you know, you have somebody standing behind you saying, we believe them 100%, to stand with you all the way.
What did he tell you about the closet?
Weekdays at 3 on KOAM TV.
In Consumer Watch this morning, members of the United Auto Workers Union are now more than 2 months into a new contract with the country's big three automakers, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. The union's 4.5-year agreement followed a 6-week strike last fall. The walkout had the entire nation questioning the future of the auto industry. And one employee at the GM facility in Lockport, New York, says this new contract has changed his life. Phoebe Kassan spoke to him.
Derek Adams of Lockport knows all too well what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck.
I understand what it means to to struggle, to not have a lot.
Adams began working at the General Motors Lockport location in February 2020 after working for Brunner International Incorporated in Medina. Any chance he could get overtime, he was up for it. But after the UAW reached a deal at the end of October for employees to receive a raise and more benefits, Adams says it has become a lifesaver.
I had to really manage my time, the money I made from it. And then once I got hired into GM, and I became a flex temp, I went from $14.60 to $18.34.
A positive step forward for Adams and his family of 5. It's enough for his wife to become a stay-at-home mom.
So that takes a lot of stress off my body now. My oldest is 10. My middle child, he's 4. He'll be 5 in June. Actually, I got 2 June babies, and then my little one that you just saw, he's a February baby. He'll be 1.
And now he doesn't have to worry about struggling to make ends meet.
That makes bills easier to manage money, easier to manage your time. Now you're not working 70 hours a week, 80 hours a week, just to make the same check.
The negotiated contract the UAW agreed to gave workers a generally pay increase of about 25%. This means an employee hired this year at $16 an hour could earn more than $40 an hour by the end of the contract in April 2028. And UPS has just announced that the company will cut 12,000 jobs. This comes just months after the delivery company agreed to a new 5-year labor contract. The company says that the mass layoff will save $1 billion. UPS has roughly 500,000 employees. A Delaware judge has ruled that Tesla CEO Elon Musk may not keep a pay package worth more than $55 billion, saying that Musk and his company failed to prove that the massive payout was fair. The ruling comes 5 years after a shareholder lawsuit accused Musk and Tesla's board of directors of breaching their duties to the electric vehicle maker, wasting corporate assets, and unjustly enriching the billionaire. After the ruling, Musk posted on X, quote, "Never incorporate your company in the state of Delaware." And McDonald's is giving its fans a chance to win free burgers for a year. Just be on the lookout at your local fast food chain for the Hamburglar's new getaway car. It's a 1970 Plymouth Barracuda, or in this case, a Burger Cuda, trimmed in the mascot's iconic black and white stripes. Customers can scan the code on the car to enter the sweepstakes, or go to the website spothamburger.com for a chance to win. A New York business owner is getting a taste of Hollywood, and Hollywood is getting a taste of her Barbie-themed treats. Marcus Solis reports.
Ben Stiller has had them, Dustin Hoffman, Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler ordered them for weeks.
She's not name-dropping. Anne-Marie D'Erasmo is on her way to becoming the pretzel purveyor to the stars. For the 6th time, her posh pretzels will be included in a swag bag given to the top nominees at the Academy Awards.
Ta-da!
This year's theme? Barbie, of course.
Some of them have a light strawberry taste, and we did all pink, and we did gold nonpareils, and then we did also gold crystals. We just kept it all pink.
D'Erasmo opened the shop on North Broadway nearly 10 years ago as a side business while working full-time at a hospital. On a lark, she reached out to Distinctive Assets, the company behind the Everyone Wins independent gift bags that are handed out on Oscar night.
I love that it was a female-owned brand. I love that she was a mom making things happen. She was easy to work with, and I just thought it was an amazing inclusion.
D'Erasmo has made custom creations for events ranging from the 50th anniversary of hip-hop concert to Martha Stewart's birthday party. Now she's getting ready to ship dozens of these gold boxes out west. No, she doesn't get to attend, but yes, she's hoping for a little Hollywood magic.
I mean, if Ryan Gosling happens to have one, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't be upset.
And that's it for Consumer Watch. Now here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty cold start out there across the area, but we are going to warm up once again today. Our camera on the Cornell Complex starting to get some daylight out there. Clear skies, but again, cold. MoDOT camera, 20th in range line. More cars on the road in just 15 minutes time as everyone gets their day underway. Skywatch Storm Tracker again, locally nothing. Some showers out in the Carolinas, a weak wave down in New Mexico, and then that big swirl. I love looking at this on the satellite because it is so well defined, this low pressure system and the showers along the west coast. That's going to be bringing us rain as we head into this upcoming weekend. We've also been contending with fog. Now, Fort Scott's starting to look a lot better. Looks like some of the fog is now being kind of condensed here on 54 between Stockton and Nevada. So do just watch out for that patchy fog across the area. We're sitting at 34 in Joplin, 31 in Pittsburgh. Kids getting on the bus this morning. We are looking at about 33. Some fog for some of us, as you saw on the fog tracker. There's not a lot, but there's patchy fog out there. East breeze 5 to 10. And when that bus brings them home today, plentiful sunshine, upper 50s, southwest breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. As we mentioned, rain is on the way. We're going to talk about that. We also are getting ready to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. That is all coming up after the break. But first, these fine folks in New York City getting ready for CBS Mornings. So let's see what they've got coming up on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail Kane. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, comedian Trevor Noah joins us as we continue our road to the Grammy series. He's hosting for the 4th year in a row. Why? Because he's good. We'll talk about him being on center stage once again. I know he can handle it. The music's biggest night. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings, your favorite morning show.
I was stuck. Unresolved depression symptoms were in my way.
Proceeds providing higher education opportunities for women. Bring your sweet tooth and plan to attend the annual PEO Chocolate Festival February 10th.
All right, time for those Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're starting in Girard with Luis Humble-Geyer celebrating birthday number 9. Happy birthday.
And happy 10th birthday to Willa Fecky over in Carl Junction, Missouri. Says happy birthday, love, Mom and Dad.
And in Pittsburgh, Reed Prophet celebrating birthday number 11. Happy birthday, Reed.
Over in Carthage, happy 43rd birthday to Jonathan Honeshell.
And in Joplin, I know this particular guy, Nicholas Oibera, celebrating birthday number 51. He's a big train enthusiast like I am. We love trains. He loves them, I think, even more than I do. And it says happy birthday from Teresa Singleton and Zim, and a very happy birthday to you from me.
All right. And happy 79th birthday to Brenda Parsons over in McCune, Kansas.
And last, and by certainly no means least, Chandler Humble celebrating birthday number 22 in Girard. Says, love you, grandson, from Nana and Popo. All right, that birthday list is extraordinarily short.
Not a lot of birthdays today, but you know what? Sometimes that happens.
Enough birthdays.
All
we
right.
want more. Caitlin, what do they need to do before
yeah.
I go crazy?
Let's keep Chris from throwing a fit, and let's bring those birthdays and anniversaries in by submitting them to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
All right, of course, as we've mentioned, make sure you meet that deadline. The problem is if you guys actually meet this demand, if we get like every possible birthday in the 4 states, not all at once, but I mean each day, I will be pleased. But Tim, in our control room, he has to make all of these and pull them in and build the list and put all the information in for us. He may not be as pleased, but Tim, I think, still loves celebrating these birthdays, don't you? He loves celebrating. We love celebrating them. Please make sure you take time to submit them. I need to advance this a couple hundred frames here because it reset on me. This time it wasn't my fault. This time it was resetting. Now it froze up because hit the button. It's like any other computer. You hit buttons too many times. That doesn't help the situation. It only makes it worse. All right, here's our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. As you can see, clear skies. Look at that. I'll just move. Look at that sunrise. Beautiful colors out there. It is cold though, but it is looking great. MoDOT camera 20th in range line. It is hard to believe that this and that other are taking place at the same time, but it's the position of the MoDOT camera down a little lower that does make it a little more difficult to see the light. This gentleman or person here needs to, recall for safety, you should walk the extra 10 feet to the crosswalk and cross there. I'm telling you, range line is not a place you don't want to cross at a crosswalk. All right, KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh also looking pretty good out there as well as we get this Wednesday underway. We've had some fog primarily in our northern counties. Fort Scott improving, Nevada, Stockton still about 6 miles visibility, so do keep an eye out for some patchy fog. As we showed you earlier, Skywatch Storm Tracker, we have that wave out in New Mexico. Not much to that. Some showers in the Carolinas, obviously not a problem for us. What's going to be our weather maker heading into the weekend is this big swirl out here off the west coast. That's a low pressure system with rain, and it's going to bring that rain to us as we head into the weekend. Look at our camera, 7th and range line. Take a look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. It is 34 in Joplin. Obviously clear skies, feels like 30 with a variable breeze at 4. Temperatures around the region, again, most of us in the low to mid 30s, got some 20s. Nevada, for example, in fact, at this point, as I take a quick scan, Nevada as the only example, sitting at 28. And believe it or not, we're going to warm up by 30 degrees as we head into the afternoon. Getting the morning started, fog is gone by 9, maybe a few stray clouds from that by 10, sunny skies by 11, and pushing about 50 degrees by 11. We're going to talk more about what the rest of today looks like, those rain chances, and the news you need to know in just a moment. And when we make the switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to tell you about how some local students are learning about history by meeting with some Civil War reenactors. That's coming up at 7 on Fox 14.
For his service, including a Military Achievement Award, we are proud to salute Dennis Tyndall, a 4-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Department of Veterans Affairs announces the location for a new outpatient clinic in Southeast Kansas. The VA Eastern Kansas Healthcare System's newest clinic will be located in Iola at 1408 East Street. To help area veterans learn about the services offered, the VA will provide information sessions in 4 Southeast Kansas communities. The first will be in Garnett on February 6th, then in Chanute on February 7th, Iola on the 8th, and Fort Scott on the 9th. On cold days that hit the 4 states this month, Mini Hackney Community Service Center of Joplin served as a warming center not only for the homeless population, but also for their pets. With the help of community members, the center offered pet crates, as most shelter facilities don't allow furry friends. The building in downtown Joplin has a long history of providing shelter for people dating back to the segregation days. And students at Pineville Elementary yesterday welcomed Civil War enthusiasts and reenactors. These guests were able to bring stories of what it was like for soldiers to fight and live in the Missouri, Arkansas, and Kansas areas. The reenactors also brought accurate clothing and gear used by both Union and Confederate soldiers. The teacher, Mrs. Johnson, says this is the perfect way for students to be introduced into an important part of our nation's history. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, cold now, much warmer later, low 60s out there, sunny skies across the area, clouds increasing this evening, and that will provide a little bit of a blanket, trapping in some of that warm air. So our lows back into the low 40s. And just as a reminder as to how far off course we are on temperatures, the low 40s is where our average highs should be right now. Breezy tomorrow, low 60s, mid 60s Friday, cloudy again, rain late, continuing into Sunday, maybe early Monday as well. And then we'll warm up again next week, back to the 60s.
And coming up today at noon, we're making bubblin' strawberry rhubarb cobbler in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
It's been a while since he's had like a 10-minute long name for one of those recipes.
Every day, Chris.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, of course, and ahead on CBS Mornings, Protecting the Planet series. Ben Tracy flies into a storm high above the Pacific to see how data from extreme weather events can help save lives and deal with droughts.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, a local nursing home held a discussion about dealing with depression while in assisted living.
Plus, Adavan Rowan joins us in the studio for another Wildcat Wednesday. However, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. Caitlin will be back here tomorrow at 5 a.m.
Right.
Just so everybody at home doesn't get worried, I'm simply going to be off the next couple of days, so I'll see you Monday. She'll see you tomorrow.
I'll hold down the fort, Chris.
And we'll see you again today at noon.
Join us for the coolest event of the year,